Welcome back to Mindful Moments. By now, y'all should know who I am, Mr. 15. And
What's up, y'all? It's Beige.
Beige
Hold on.
I'm gonna pay for a guy. A guy's gonna pay for me.
Hold on. I'm trying to figure out who you think you are today. You got on shades.
I got on shades. You know what I'm saying? We sparing Beige today, man. We don't want to close up on her. You know what I'm saying? She feeling some type of.
Okay. My sandals are cute.
Oh, they cute. They cute.
Anyway.
Today, guys, I want to talk about the healing process, and I'm not gonna get too sentimental on it. I want to take a different look at the healing process, along with guys lacking emotional intelligence, as we all know, and women also being emotionally manipulative. What comes to mind when I say that, Beige?
Well, I feel like you. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Let me choose my words carefully now, because y'all like,
Here we go.
like to take me out.
Y'all done scared, Beige, now.
Because first of all, ain't nobody never scared because I said what I said. But anyway, the lack of emotional intelligence. There can be a lack of emotional intelligence on both sides, and there can be a issue of emotional manipulation on both sides as well, I feel. So everybody has to take accountability in this conversation. But go ahead.
So let's paint this picture right now.
Paint it for me.
Okay.
All right.
So if you're a guy out there, I know that you've been through this before. And if you're a woman, you also have been through this before. So you're having a conversation, and your girl or your dating partner, your situationship, what we all talked about, has expressed to you something that you said rubbed her the wrong way. It made her feel like this or whatever. You receive that as a guy, and you're like, wait a minute, what? What do you mean? My intentions weren't that. So now you're in this situation where it's like, okay, she's offended, she's hurt, or whatever words you want to use, and you're stuck in like, okay, well, I know my intentions wasn't that. My tone of voice wasn't harsh or anything like that. So what's going on here? So now typically what happens is your girl mad or your wife mad, you know what you got to do. You know what you got to do. But I feel like over time, if too many of these run-ins start happening, you're not always going to, I don't want to use the word submit, because we know how people get about the word submit. You're not going to submit, but you're going to say your piece. And when you say your piece, it's always, let's not use always. It's often comes off as you being dismissive, or you're not listening to me. Mm-hmm. So from a woman perspective, Beige, I just want to ask you, just hearing that, what's your take on that before I go deep? Before I take a deep dive on that?
I think it's some truth to it. I think that a lot of people lack good communication skills. And I think that most times everybody wants their feelings to matter more instead of just hearing. I think that for me, how I communicate, and I wasn't always this way. I had to graduate up to this because I was the person who would say, well, I feel like this and I feel like that. Regardless of whatever, this how I feel, and that's just what it is. And that's not always correct. You know what I'm saying? Just I heard you say it wasn't my intention to. That's a big thing, like in communication, that a lot of people leave out. And I feel like as far as when it comes to man versus woman in a conversation, hey, when you said this, it made me feel like this, or I didn't like your tone. I think that most people have a hard time accepting that person's perspective or experience of what they said. Mm-hmm. Like, so you may not feel like that was your tone, but from my ears and my perspective, it was. So then the appropriate thing would be to come back to me or come back at me and say, well, most times this is what I want anyway. I'm sorry if it came across that way. That was not my intention. I apologize for making you feel that way. You don't really have to apologize for what you said, because if you said what you meant and you meant what you said and that's how you feel, that's fine. But if the way that you delivered it was not appropriate and hurt my feelings, acknowledge that part, and then we can move past it, if that makes sense.
Well, some people, I know a lot of guys listening to this right now are saying, hey, man, I've said that before, but even that can come off as dismissive. Like, because it can come off as you put it on me. I'm sorry, I made you feel that way. I didn't mean it like that, but you feel that way, so I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying. Like, everybody wants their feelings to matter more. That's what I'm saying. So you have to reach a point in communication where it's like, here are my feelings, here are your feelings. Now that the feelings are on the table, let's talk about it. Like, I understand how you feel, you understand how I feel. Nobody's feeling is more important here. Like, our feelings have equal value. And I think that people not really trying to acknowledge that. Most times it's on the woman's side. I'll give it that, most times. Because we're more emotional than y'all. Well, because men are emotional.
No, you said it. It don't need to be no well. Stop right there. You said it right.
We are emotional, but y'all are emotional too. You're just emotional in a different way. Y'all emotions come out differently. But y'all, I've met some pretty emotional men. It don't come across like the way that it would come across in a woman. It just come across in other ways.
Uh-oh.
Makes sense.
Yeah. It don't make sense. Can you elaborate, please?
Don't let me go down into a rabbit hole. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's people don't know how to communicate. I mean, I don't.
Well, if we can back it up, I definitely think that it stems from, I hate to use this word, insecurity, but everybody just hates that word. So I'll just say past experiences. Because the type of person I am, and maybe this may be a con, if I'm meeting you, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. Like, Beige has never done me wrong or never nothing since I've known you. So I'm not looking at you or listening to you speak and putting I'm not projecting on you my experiences that, oh, well, she probably mean this when she said this. Like, you haven't shown me that. Now, I'm not saying be oblivious, but this is just, as Beige would say, I can only talk about myself. Right. I don't carry baggage to my next friendship, to my next relationship, or whatever it may be. So a lot of times people will admit that, hey, you know, I reacted like that because in the past I've been treated this way, or da-da-da-da-da-da. Man, go get healed. Go get your healing.
Yeah.
Come 100% healed, because I ain't do nothing to you. You hear that? I ain't do nothing to you.
You have to be at a certain level of maturity to be able to, first of all, even communicate that. I think that for me personally, in my own situation, like, I feel like there are definitely, I do give people the benefit of the doubt to a certain extent, but I do acknowledge that there are triggers, like certain behaviors trigger me just because of things that I have experienced in the past. No, you didn't do it, but I feel like a lot of us operate out of a place of fear when it comes to a relationship, because it's like, this happened before, so there is a chance that it could happen again. So you go into defense, just trying to like put up a, just in case it does, I'm gonna be prepared, because that ain't gonna happen to me no more. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think it's like a subconscious thing that we all have to like work through. But I do think that it's good that you can communicate to your partner, like, listen, I know you didn't do this, and I know you may not understand why I'm acting how I'm acting right now, because it really don't have nothing to do with you. But let me just explain where it's coming from, and all I can do is ask that you work with me while I try to like break that bad habit or unlearn that.
I think that's key, actually. But the fact of the matter is, again, that once you're in the heat of that moment, like, we can talk about this conversation now because we're on a podcast, but in the heat of the moment, you don't want to, all you hear is you. And both parties are doing that. Well, you need to. And again, honestly, I think that's where happy life stems from, because as I get older, I'm realizing that, again, all your girlfriend is, or your wife is a woman that you're willing to submit to. Because, again, like I said, women hate that word submit, but men submit too.
It's different forms of submission.
And that's a part of submitting. Like, any old body out here, like, nah, man, I ain't, this is what it is. Versus, my girl or my wife, now it's like, Do I really want to go down this road? No.
You have to choose your battles. You have to pick your battles. But for me, I don't ever want my man to feel like he's having to like push down how he feels about something. Like, if you think I'm overreacting about something, there's a respectful way for you to tell me. There's a right time for you to tell me. Right in that moment might not be the time. You know, you got to know your partner. You got to be able to gauge the temperature in which certain conversations or comments are appropriate and when it's not. You know what I'm saying? But I don't ever want him to feel like, oh, happy wife, happy life. I don't like it, but I'm just going to sit back and shut up. Like, some things, okay, like I get that. We do it too.
Yeah.
It ain't called happy wife, happy life, but it's like, I ain't about to argue with him about this. I'm gonna let him think. What you know what I'm saying? We do it too in our own way. But it's like not to the point to where, like, I've had to say that in a relationship. Like, it's not benefit. I'm doing myself a disservice to not speak up for me right now.
Yeah.
Like, I have to speak up for me. I don't like what you did. I don't know how we gonna work through it, but this how I feel. And I'm just putting that on the table and we can decide how we gonna move forward. But a lot of people aren't at that. Like I said, you have to be at a certain level of maturity and have gone through a certain healing process on your own to even be able to have the mental capacity to communicate with another individual in that way, if that makes sense.
Well, let's transition and speaking on healing processes. So the healing process is real interesting because it's two ways that I look at it. Like, yes, a lot of things you could have been a problem and you go through the healing process and you figure it out. But another side of that is sometimes it could have been the other person and you meet someone else and you're like, hold on, I wasn't tripping. Mm-hmm. Or another part of that is you can meet another person and they put up with a lot of stuff and you don't think it was you since they put up with that. And that ain't the answer either. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's real interesting how people navigate through the healing process to understand that can reflect and say, hey, you know what? I gotten better. Or you know what? I have not gotten better. All I've done is just pair myself with people that will put up with my BS.
Exactly. Right.
And I think women do that a lot. I think it's very, 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 very minimum, like healing and character development, but it's what you won't do the next will, you know what I'm saying? And you look up years later and you're like, dang, bro, like I didn't really develop. My character didn't really develop because I thought it was him the whole time, but it was really me. But my next partner didn't complain about it. Yeah, because he probably ain't want to argue with you. I
think it's just like there's no right or wrong way to heal. There's no right or wrong way. Like, it's no like rules for it. And I think that whatever works for you works for you. Will some of it be unhealthy? Yeah, some people only want to surround themselves with yes people, or like people who gon' deal with they bull, or you know, like tolerate certain things. And if you find that person that's gonna do that and you think that's functional and healthy for you, good for you. But to the person who wants to actually take accountability and say, you know, like, dang, I probably do need to work on my attitude, or my tone isn't, you know, the best. I need somebody who's gonna tell me, don't talk to me like that. Like, I feel you, but don't talk to me like that. I need that because I know that I can get a little, you know what I'm saying? Man. So I respect a man who can respectfully check me when I need to be checked, you know, because that says a lot about you as a man. I've been in a situation where I have popped off to a dude and he just sit there. And I'm like thinking to myself, you really gonna let me talk to you like that? Like, you ain't gonna stand up for yourself? Like, you need to respect yourself, King. Like, you need to like, come on. You can't let nobody talk to you like that. But I did it because he let me. Is that right? No. Is that toxic? Absolutely. But I also was at a different point. Like, it's not point. I was at a different point in my journey as well. Like, I was not in the best headspace. Now I can look back and be like, why would you do that? Like, why would you even test the waters like that with somebody? Like, why would you? What was the purpose of that? Like, that was... You
did it because he let you. Mm-hmm. You know what that sounds like to me? What? That sounds like to me... that sounds like to me, well, a certain guy can pull out my femininity, but this guy can't. it depends on the guy. And you know my stance on that. The most ridiculous thing ever. Like, that's literally what I just heard you say. Well, this dude right here, he let me. So, and this guy right here, he can check me. So, that has nothing to do with the guy. It's 100% your character.
It is, but I feel like it goes back to what I was just saying. Like, either you're going to take accountability for yourself, or you're going to surround yourself with somebody who's going to tolerate your BS. Like, he let me act how I want to act. I don't have to take accountability. I can just do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want over here. I know if I go over here, it's kind of like when I go to my mama's house, I got rules. When I go to my dad's house, I can do whatever the hell I want to do. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that type of mindset. So I think it's just you have to decide what type of person you want to be.
So those two dudes that you just described, you just made it seem like, well, you know, this dude right here that's going to put me, this the dude that is the winner, but this dude that let me, you know that y'all really want to find that happy medium in between those two dudes to find that guy. Don't try to make it seem like this the dude right here, the dude that put me in check.
It might not be for some people. For me personally, for me to be the best version of myself, once I got done dealing with my own self, having a conversation with my own self, like checking my own self, I realized that that's something that I need in a partner. And that's just what the dating process is too, like figuring out what you need in a partner. Like, I need somebody who can, because I know me. I get a little carried away. My attitude sometimes is not the best. I know my flaws. I'm very self-aware. So it's like, sometimes I need somebody who gonna be like, okay, ma'am, let's tone it down a bit. You're doing a lot today. Let's dial it back a bit.
So like, not you going into work on yourself, fixing those issues. You finding somebody that is.
Saying, I have already. That's what I'm saying. I can take accountability. Okay. And I can even say, in the moment, if it happens, I can catch myself. I've done that recently. I said, I'm projecting. I'm projecting. This is how I would want me to act right now, and I'm trying to force you to do that. My bad. I'm tripping. And the response was, yeah, I'm glad you said something, because I was about to go ahead and take care of that one for you.
Well, to me, that's a good start.
Yeah.
For you to just say, because in a way, and this is what I mean, you listening to emotional manipulator right here, because somebody like that will say something. Like, a person like that will say something to you like, well, I know you hear me catch myself all the time. Well, maybe you shouldn't be doing it at all.
Right. If you also have to understand that if we come to you and say, hey, I don't like when you do this stuff, I'm about to cuss. The stuff is not just going to change tomorrow.
This ain't church.
No, I'm just saying, it's not just going to, some things are bad habits. I have bad habits that I'm aware of, that I understand that it's not, I've been doing this for years. Like, this is who I am. Like, this is what I've been doing.
Years.
Yeah. I've been doing this whole time. Was I aware the whole time? No. But now that I'm aware, I'm working on it.
So do you think that you should be working on that in a relationship or before you get
both? I think both.
Okay.
Yeah, I think both.
I actually agree with you.
Yeah, I definitely think both, because for the longest I told myself, like, I don't need to be in a relationship until this is this way, or I don't need to be in a relationship until this is that way. There's never going to be a point where you're like, okay, now everything is perfect and I can be in a relationship. That's not what a relationship is. Like, you're constantly evolving. You're constantly bettering yourself. Like, your person is supposed to call you out on your shit. Your person is supposed to encourage you to be a better version of yourself. Like, so, I mean, to a certain degree, yes, you should work to be as whole as possible, because two halves trying to be one ain't gonna work. So you should try to be as whole as possible so that you can operate as one. But once you get in that space, it's still good to still work on yourself. Like, for sure, I feel.
Absolutely. I think that there's a lot of self-discovery more so when you are in it versus
for sure.
Just you self-isolate and, you're just alone, man, because you can go years and think that, boy, I done healed. I'm good now. I'm ready.
And then when you get in there, you realize how much work you still have to do. Yes. So I think sometimes relationships are necessary for healing and self-awareness, for sure.
Absolutely. You said something earlier when you were like, you just gonna let me talk to you like that, so I'm gonna keep doing it. That just brought back like a memory that I just got to share with y'all. For guys that's watching this, and if you just heard Beige say that, let me just tell you something right here.
Because first of all, hold on. Don't try to, because I know what he going to do. He going to make this as a clip, and then he going to make it seem like, I'm just this big bad wolf who just out here talking.
You are the big bad wolf.
Kind of way.
You got the most views right now.
Man,
you are the big bad wolf.
Come on, man.
So I'm going to tell you right now, if you ever been caught in that situation right there when she just spazzing, whoever you are watching this, and you listen to Babe talk, and if it was you ruining it for dudes out here. You ruining it for dudes. Let me tell you something. That take me back. I got to take the shades off of this. Oh, it's bright. That take me back to an instance where I'm not going to say I'm nonchalant, because people that has dated me or talked to me would be like, boy, you're lying. But I am calm. And I'm going to tell you that in those situations, when somebody's spazzing like that, I don't care how nonchalant you are. Mm-hmm. When they take it that low, you got to go to hell. You gotta go to hell. I don't care how nonchalant you is, bro. I'll never forget being in a relationship, and I got into it at the time with the girl, and I was at her crib, and she hit me with the get out, bruh. Oh my God. First and foremost, do you know how empowering that is for a woman to tell you to get out her crib? That's like a dream for a woman to tell you get out. Yeah. So in this moment right here, it's a very small window, bruh. If you ever in this situation, nobody tell you to get out, bruh, you gotta instantly crash out. And like I'm talking about,
that's terrible advice.
You instantly, you better not have let me have bought the TV. The TV leaving, I'm taking the dog, extension cords, butter knives, plastic plates, everything. You got to crash out, because if you don't, like she just said, all respect is lost. Now, at the time when that happened to me, an old head told me, he was like, little bruh, you gonna learn, because she was like, when she said get out, she wasn't telling me to get out of her crib. She was telling me to get out of her room and go sleep on the couch. And he was like, hey man, as you get older, you're going to learn to sleep on that couch, bro. It's going to have to be times when you sleep on that couch. Hey, listen, at the time, I'm a young nigga. Bitch, I got my own crib. I'm flashing out. Boy, ain't finna, I got my own, da-da-da-da. And I'll never forget, like, the other day, I just drove past where she used to stay at, and I'll never forget, like, I could see myself 2 a.m. on the curbside with all my bags, waiting on the Uber to come, feeling like an idiot, because I just got off the plane from Houston, and I just went straight to her crib. And just like, wow. But if she take it low, if I ain't say nothing, if you don't remember anything I said, bro, do not let women disrespect you like that. That don't mean you got to put your hands on them or anything. But like she said, you respectfully got to restore that. And I'm gonna end it on this. The way you can confirm that you did what you were supposed to do when you flashing out, if the room ain't silent like this, you ain't doing your job. She got to be sitting there like, I don't know what this nigga about to do. Like, she got to be scared. That's where you got to take it to, because the last thing you can do is be out here walking around, and as a man, that's all you got, your respect. Mm-hmm. You can't be having your old lady like look at you like, well, talk to this nigga any kind of way.
I understand what you're saying a little bit. I understand what you're saying.
Real advice, real rap.
I understand what you're saying. I think for me, I went through different stages of communication, right? So I went through the scared to say anything. Like, people like would do things, and I'd just be like, I'm just trying to keep the peace,
Oh my goodness.
Trying to keep the peace. It's okay. And then I went through let me test the waters.
Oh Lord.
I never, I yelled a couple times, but for the most part, I'm not a yeller. I'm not a screamer. I'm not a thrower. I'm not a fighter. I'm not any of that. I'm like really calm. But it's like the things that I say while I'm calm is like, why would you say that? Like, if you was at the gates of heaven, God would be like, ma'am, turn around. You cannot come in here, because I heard what you said and you got to go. Like, you can't come up in here with that mouth. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm at the point where I'm like, I actually think before I speak. Like, even in my current relationship, it's like,
Yeah, I know
okay.
a lot of y'all thought Paige was single out here.
In my current relationship, there will be moments where I say, just give me a minute. I'm trying to redirect my emotions right now. I don't want to say something because I'm too like, let me calm down and think before I say something, because I don't want to say the wrong thing. And he be like, you know what? Okay, cool. I like that.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome advice, because
That's rare
that's my biggest toxic
for a
trait.
woman. That's rare.
I'm the most in the moment person ever. As the silent grows, I'm even getting more hot.
Yeah.
Like as it's quiet now, it's just like, if all the Libras out there, like I know you've been in a situation where the argument been over and you mad at yourself. He's like, damn, I ain't say that to that bitch. I should have said that shit. Like, damn. So now when I'm on fire, I would hate for you to say something like that, and now it done boiled down, and maybe it's even squash.
Yeah.
But I'm like, damn.
I don't let things linger. That's a rule in my relationship. We're not going to let this linger. Like, we're going to talk about it, and we're going to move on. And if we talk about it and a couple minutes go by and you genuinely ain't moved on, we're not done yet. Like, we got to finish talking about it.
Look at your body.
How much time you need? You need 10 minutes? Do you need 15 minutes? Because we not going to bed with this energy. Like, we're not doing that.
Oh,
like,
babe,
I'm
you
not
toxic, boy.
I'm not.
We ain't going to bed with this energy. Yeah,
no,
you
I'm
toxic.
saying, how is that
Wake
toxic?
up.
How's
We're
that
not
toxic?
done.
Yeah, I'm upset. Like, I understand that we talked about it, but my vibe's still off. Like, I don't want my vibe to be off with you. So let me tell you why my vibe's still off. And maybe we could get an understanding. We don't have to agree, but can we at least get an understanding up in here?
So you the type to just wake up middle of the night. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah. Or sometimes in the morning.
Oh, man. Not waking up.
I understand that, you know what.
So I just feel like last night,
I slip it in there. Like, we'll be, you know, chilling, whatever. And now I'll say something like, well, yeah, you know, when you was upset yesterday. And that I just didn't understand.
Oh,
and
my goodness.
Like, so, I mean, so you still, okay, let's talk about it.
Fun.
But it's never like negative, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like just a conversation.
Yeah.
Like, it may get hype in moments, but it's still just a conversation. It's like, okay, you getting a little less. Why you yelling? I'm saying right here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I think it takes on both parts a certain level of how you want to communicate. Like, I know I don't want to. I think this goes back to childhood too. Like, I seen a certain type of communication style that I don't want. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we can have an argument, we can have a disagreement, but we don't have to communicate with each other like that. And I know that sometimes you get in the heat of moment of things and your voice might elevate, but you have to have a certain level.
Huge.
You have to have a certain level of self-control to where you can bring yourself back down. If you don't have the self-control to bring your temper down, like, you need to go see a therapist. You need some help. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. But it's like, if we both here, we're not going to ever get nowhere. Somebody has to be able to come back down here and give the other person room to meet them where they at, so y'all can have a conversation, or else we just.
So I'll say this: you made some really key points, bro. That takes like so much learning for men to do, because I think we all are introduced to emotional intelligence when we get in a relationship. Like, that's not something that we trained on. But I want to touch on you saying tone. Mm-hmm. Man, I remember when I was in I'm still in that journey. I don't know, I'm talking about that journey, like that journey's over. But I remember when I was in my journey and I was like listening to women speak on these topics, I had no idea how much that mattered. Mm-hmm. Like, you raising your voice, maybe a little decibel. Maybe you were sitting down, then you stood up.
Yeah.
Like, just those small things, I had no idea that, you know, it's real cliche for people to say it's not what you said, it's how you say it. Mm-hmm. But for men, like, it's so easy for you to think that, like, that's just how I talk. That's how I'm just talking.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's how you talking to your homeboys, bro.
Yeah.
And you know that it's no harm. You and your dogs argue like that all day. Mm-hmm. And you know that y'all just BSing around.
Right.
But to a woman that, you know, has that, even if you never struck her before in your life, it's always that what if in there. Like, if this dude flash out right now, I can't do nothing. So you getting up, raising your, she don't know.
Yeah.
And you just genuinely like, man, I'm just speaking passionately. But that was like a a big discovery when I, realized that, again, it can be a tonality. It can be the way you moving your hands, how I'm moving my hands right here. I can be listening to you, but I can start doing this and now I'm more frantic. And she just like, what the world going on here? But now let me switch roles here. See, a lot of y'all play this game of like, whether you want to admit it or not, we all know that women are emotional.
Right.
Your Carisha, City Girl, Trina, Glorilla, any of them, all of them emotional. But you will put on this big fad knowing that you a teddy bear, knowing you a little buttercup and all that. So why aren't you approaching your significant other like that? Don't try to be this big firecracker, and then once this happens, now you all, why you talking to me like that? Because I've, even in just dating, not even my girlfriend, just dating, man, I done ran across women that at first I'm like, dang girl, you know what I'm saying? You dope. You blase, because I'm thinking like they cool. They really ain't emotional like that, and they whatever. But as a person starts to like you more and more, all that's out the window, bro. All that's out the window. So now me, of course, being older, I understand that. But it used to be a big thing to me, like, bro, you was just acting like da. And now, you know what I'm saying, in these situations, you emotional as hell.
Yeah.
So I think that, I don't know if it's a man thing. I don't know what we've done or what women done to make you feel like when you with us that you got to be this tough, armored person.
I think it's just like a defense mechanism. It's like, I want you to know that you can't run over me. Like, don't come at me and think that you just about to just do whatever to me. So we kind of got to like create a little, like, that's where, well, to me, that's where my attitude and my smart mouth and my this come in at. Like, my nonchalantness, my, that whole thing. Because it's like, you're not about to handle me, and I want you to know that. I'm setting the bar here so that you know you can never come at me here. You know what I'm saying? So, and women, like, you train a man on how he can treat you. And men know that too. Y'all be testing the waters. Let me try this and see if I can, you know what I'm saying? And if we don't say nothing, oh, she cool with it. Like, if I say, shut up, and she don't say, don't talk to me like that, oh, I can talk to her like that.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That's some BS. That's
not BS.
I'm explaining to you on a guy's perspective.
Go ahead.
Because the same way that I just got on you about the whole, well, why should you find somebody that can put up with X, Y, and Z shit in you? That's the same way I can bring it back, reel it back into men and say, it doesn't matter what type of chick you are. You can be a super soft, feminine, kind-hearted woman. You can be a ratchet, rah type woman. A guy should treat that same woman how he treats woman A, how he treats woman B. And that don't got nothing to do with women. That is the games that men play. Like, when a man is really ready to step, again, it don't matter if you the most hood rat chick out there in the world working Wendy's or whatever. I should treat you the same way they say you should treat the janitor like the CEO. It's the same thing with women.
Yeah, they should, but guess what? They don't.
You're right.
And
you're
from
right.
my experience, that is what I have experienced.
You're right.
A dude will treat you how you allow him to treat you.
But I'm just here to tell you that I don't think that's true, that you have to set the standard on.
I feel like you absolutely do, because I have been in a situation where I was a little more green before I had like in my first situation, and I can say like my first dating situation, like, oh, he's telling me.
How old you was in your first dating situation, babe?
21.
We talking about a 21-year-old right now, bro.
Yeah.
You can't talk about why y'all do that.
Because
you
that's
know,
my first experience. I'm saying, like, I see the progression, like, in the change, in the, when I realized that that's what was going on. I have older guy friends that are close to me that's like, well, this is happening because you're making it easy for him. Like, why would he, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're setting the bar on what's cool and what ain't.
But I can say the same thing on, I can deal with somebody that makes it easy for me, and I'm appreciative of that. Because the older I get, I don't want to have to knock down all these barriers and do all this type of stuff just because of what you're saying, which is very normal. People going through their dating experiences and now, they go about things a certain way. But I do appreciate someone that is giving me the benefit of the doubt and that's giving me the luxury to say, hey, I'm open to you. I'm vulnerable. This is how I am. And to me, it's like I got to be almost super great. Well, I don't even know what word I want to use, but super happy that, you're giving me this opportunity. And either A, I can screw it up and pass on more experiences that you have to make it worse for the next person with you, or I can admire the fact that, like, dang, man, like, look how she's being super vulnerable with me. It's up to me. When you give me that, it's me. It's not you.
Right.
It's 100% up to my character. Not, she green, she's super sweet, so I'm a blah, 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 blah.
Every man mentality ain't like that.
At 21, of course not.
Yeah, they look at it like, not even just making it at 21. That's still going on at this big age now. You know what I'm saying? So it depends on the person. But I'm just letting you know where it may stem from in a woman, because that has been her experience up until this point. So I feel like this is how I have to come in, because if I don't, the same thing is he's going to misinterpret my energy and feel like this is how you're supposed to handle me. But this is incorrect. This is not what I want. Yeah. So let me be clear on, let me let him know, let me let him see. But then once you do that and then you get involved, you get emotional, those walls start coming down. You start feeling safe enough to, this hurt my feelings. For me, it took forever to say something hurt my feelings. Like, what? I think I'm about to give you the satisfaction of knowing you hurt my feelings. Oh, no. So I have to feel very safe to say, that hurt my feelings. I didn't really like. Because that's just me. That's just me.
It's not. It's a lot of people like that.
I don't know if I'm speaking in general anymore.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. I'm telling you, it's a lot of people like that.
I'm speaking for me, because that goes back to, like, even in the Bible where it talks about, like,
Not beige, bringing the Bible.
I'm gonna bring the Bible because,
bring
baby,
it up now,
when
girl.
Jesus come back and say, "Do you believe?" I'm gonna be like, "Yes, Lord, I do." Like, I talked about you on the podcast. I talked about you everywhere.
You better say that, girl.
I do not deny. Like, I claim 100%. Y'all can believe what y'all want. I believe in Jesus. But anyway,
okay, that's getting clipped right there with the church music. Duh.
So, just like how it talks about, like, the role of a man and a woman or whatever, and how, like, a lot of, and I think that's been, like, a lot of conversation in this, like, generation and society today too, of women just trying to be like men, basically, or not feeling like they have the space to be safe or be led by a man, or, being made to feel like we don't need a man. I don't feel like I don't need a man. I absolutely need a man. I want to live a soft life. Like, I want to, like, I want to.
This the pick me beige I know right here.
Man, chill out. But anyway, so I want to live that kind of life, but it's like, it's just like it's our job to create a safe space for y'all to feel like y'all can talk about certain things or be a certain type of way, because y'all growing up, it's like, you fall down, don't cry, don't talk about, ain't nobody asking you how you feel. You a boy, like, you ain't supposed to be, you know what I'm saying? And that carries over into your, like, being a man, to where now your emotional maturity is well below where it needs to be to even know how to function in a situation with a woman. So it's like the same type of thing goes with us, where it's like, me saying something hurt my feelings, for me to graduate to that level, you've obviously displayed something to me to where it's okay for me to, like, come to you in that type of way. So that's why when you start getting more emotionally involved, or sleeping with a girl, or just, like, spending more time with her, or, like, those types of walls start coming down. So she may confuse it with, if that's not your intention, it may confuse her, like, oh, well, you may be like, well, I don't understand why you acting like this. Just 2 weeks ago, you was cool with such. But now, ever since this happened, now you're crying, now your feelings hurt. Y'all confused, but it's like, the way that you're handling me, you're making me feel like it's safe for me to do these types of things. So that's why it's like, communication is so important. Like,
well, I will say this, because we ain't just gonna put it on all, well, this happened to me and that's why I'm here. A lot of y'all, when y'all young, I ain't gonna say y'all, us, because men do it too. I've definitely done it. A lot of us, let's not be sexist here. A lot of us date for potential. So I can guarantee you that there are red flags that you can go back to every single experience that you had that gave you those bags that you carry, that you can say, man, if I would have cut that off right then and there, I would have never became this person. I would have never experienced that. But like in the previous episode when you spoke about experiences that you didn't have as a child that you had as an adult that you wish you would have had earlier, so you would have been more prepared. Yeah. I also do like a small percent. I feel like you have to go, well, not half, but it's a part of your journey that you go through those things. But now, where you are now, for you to be your true self and not have to speak on, well, if you do this, then I'll do this, and if you make me feel this way, then I'll do this. If you just have certain standards and cut it off at whenever it needs to be cut off, we don't got to go through all, oh, well, he did me like this, and well, he don't do this, he doesn't act like this, so I won't be as feminine with him. No, you shouldn't be dealing with this type of person at all. Anyway, so now, obviously, that's where we are now at our age, but for you all listening to this, that's where you want to be. Now, what I've realized is we talked about a lot of communication. I had no idea how exhausting communication is to some people.
It is very exhausting.
So that's something that people should definitely talk about when they're getting to know each other, and it's conflict resolution. Everybody is not good at resolving conflict. People shy away from it. And you don't know this until these things happen versus you just straight up asking, hey, how do you deal with conflict? And some people will tell you, hey, somebody told me one time, I cry. I don't like talking about it. Immediately cut off. Like, immediately, like, oh, we ain't doing that right there. So, and I'll let Beige throw some things in there. One thing that I love to ask people, and I'm going to add that to my my little repertoire. But one thing that I love asking people when I'm kind of speed dating or just talking to someone for the first time, even if I just chatting with them at a party or something, like, what are 3 reasons you wouldn't date yourself?
Oh, yes, that's so good.
That right there lets me know, number one, how self-aware you are. Because you tell me none, immediately cut off.
Yes, that's a red flag. I ask that question all the time. Why do you feel like
you ain't get that question from me?
Huh?
You got that question from me, didn't you?
I don't know. I think so.
Come on now. Give him a credit. Now.
I do ask that. I think that's a very important question. Like, why do you feel like, I had that conversation while I was dating my current situation. My current boyfriend.
Say it. There you go. That's what he want to hear. Okay. Boy, my man.
My current boyfriend. It's so new, like I'm just practicing.
We ain't gonna clip that. You gotta watch this. That
my current boyfriend, while we were dating, I did ask that question, like, why do you feel like you've been single this whole time? So to the naked eye, it's like, oh, even for me, like, oh, well, you seem to be a nice girl. You seem to keep yourself together. You seem to have a good head on your shoulders. Why are you single? I think that's a good question. Like I said, I'm not just asking you, I've asked myself. Like, before I even got into a situation like this, I'm like, why are you single? Like, and I had to really sit down and think about it. Like, why am I single?
But see, that's too it's too wide open. But that 3 reasons you wouldn't, that's another level. When you put that wouldn't date yourself,
it's like, what are same thing, like, what are your red flags? Like, what do you think your red flags are? Or what have you been told in the past your red flags are from people who have experienced you? Because you just being yourself is one thing, but somebody else's experience of you is completely different.
But here's something else I'm gonna put you on. Okay. So things that you feel strongly about, and this will be my first controversial thing ever. Oh my God, I hate that I am about to say this. This will be my first controversial thing I've ever said. I don't think the little $15 tip thing was crazy how y'all took it, but this will be my first, like, oh my God, I might. So things that you feel strongly about, have conversations with them in a general sense. Like, I'll give you an example. So I told a person that I was talking to about when I worked retail, and it was a guy that came in, and I said, sir, and he wanted to be identified as she.
Okay.
And my stance was, I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Her stance was, well, why does it bother you? Da, da, da. And I had the most boomer response ever. Like, see, this is the problem with America. This is why we don't got no structure, because y'all like everybody. Da, 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 da. But little stuff like that, you will be surprised, bro, on how those type of open conversations in a general sense, not really putting y'all two in it, instead of just asking somebody, well, how do you feel about that community? How do you feel about, but just
for sure.
speaking on stuff like that.
Y'all morals and y'all values, y'all beliefs.
Exactly. You will get to know certain things that'll make you be like, yeah, we just gonna chill on you.
Not, you know
or, you know, like,
especially if it's somebody that you're dating seriously and you think about like having kids and being married, because those things are gonna come up.
Absolutely.
Because if you telling your kid one thing and they telling them something else, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's really important. So it's like, how are you going to deal with, you know, because our society is so, you know, like open about those things. Whatever your stance is, and your kids go to school and they have to encounter certain things, like we have to be on the same page about what we're telling our kid, you know what I'm saying? Or how we prepare them to deal with certain situations, you know, when it comes to stuff like that.
Yep. So I hate small talk. So I think out of all the things that we discussed today, you have been given a great catalog from Beige and myself on conversations you should be having, whether you're in a relationship or you're just dating. Trying to be in one. These are phenomenal things.
Or just working on yourself.
Absolutely. So, guys, this has been phenomenal. Subscribe to the channel. If you're not following us on social media, we're on everything. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Until then, see you next time.